The Miami Heat signing Klay Thompson off the buyout market exposes a desperate reality that the New York Knicks will never have to face. Miami had to rely on the Dallas Mavericks paying Thompson to leave before convincing the aging sharpshooter to take his talents to South Beach. That kind of roster building is a dangerous gamble that highlights the massive divide between two Eastern Conference contenders. While Miami scrambles for veteran castaways, New York has already constructed an impenetrable fortress of organic roster depth. To understand why the Heat found themselves in this vulnerable position, we have to examine the cost of their summer blockbuster. Miami made a franchise-altering move when they shipped out a mountain of young talent and future draft picks to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo. Pairing Giannis with Adebayo gave the Heat the most terrifying defensive frontcourt tandem in the entire basketball world. However, that blockbuster trade created a massive self-inflicted wound across the rest of their rotation. In today's modern league, you cannot win 16 playoff games with star power alone. The trade completely gutted the Heat bench, leaving Erik Spoelstra with almost no reliable depth behind his superstar core. When your secondary rotation is empty, you become entirely dependent on luck and charity from other organizations. The Heat needed Dallas to agree to a buyout with Thompson, and they needed Thompson to choose Miami over competing contenders. It was essentially an alley-oop thrown directly to the Heat front office by circumstances outside of their control. Klay Thompson is an undeniable future Hall of Fame shooter with 4 championship rings in his trophy case. Yet at this advanced stage of his professional career, expecting him to solve fundamental defensive issues is unrealistic. His perimeter mobility has clearly declined following major leg injuries, making him an easy target for elite offensive scorers. When his three-point shot is falling, he can provide instant offense, but on cold shooting nights, his overall value drops fast. If Miami relies on him for heavy playoff minutes against quick offensive guards, their perimeter defense will crack. Now contrast that fragile situation with the masterclass in team building executed by the New York Knicks. The Knicks are carrying massive financial commitments at the very top of their roster after winning a world title. Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Michael Bridges, and Josh Hart all command huge salaries on the team books. Under the harsh rules of the second apron, many critics believe New York would be forced to play with an empty bench. Instead of waiting for buyout scraps, Leon Rose and the executive staff proactively assembled elite depth on cheap deals. They did not wait for rival teams to waive veterans in March to patch up obvious holes on their roster. They scouted undervalued players, signed them to team-friendly contracts, and developed them inside their winning culture. Look at the recent trajectory of Landry Shamet as a prime example of this front office brilliance. Shamet arrived in New York on an affordable deal and quickly earned the complete trust of head coach Mike Brown. During the playoffs, he provided knockdown perimeter shooting and played disciplined defense in high-pressure moments. The Knicks rewarded that production this summer by locking him into a multi-year contract to secure their future. They do not need Klay Thompson because Landry Shamet already fills that exact perimeter shooting role at a fraction of the cost. Then you have the acquisition of point guard Jose Alvarado, who brings pure chaos and defensive toughness to the second unit. Alvarado is a relentless full-court pest who forces turnovers and changes the emotional tempo of entire quarters. Having a backup ball handler who can harass opposing stars prevents regular season burnout for Jalen Brunson. Alvarado enters this season primed for an expanded role that will make the Knicks' defense suffocating for all 48 minutes. The scouting success of this front office goes even deeper down the bench with promising young developmental talent. New York found Mohamed Diawara late in the draft, securing a versatile young forward with impressive athletic upside. They also uncovered Tyler Nickel during Summer League action, who displayed sharp perimeter instincts and scoring poise. These young pieces provide cheap insurance policies that keep the team fresh throughout an 82-game regular season. They can step onto the floor during back-to-back games and contribute positive minutes without disrupting team identity. This structural insulation is what separates sustainable basketball dynasties from one-year wonders. In the modern collective bargaining era, teams crossing the second apron face severe restrictions on signing buyout players. Front offices that rely on late-season waiver wire additions are playing a dangerous game with outdated rules. The Knicks anticipated these economic hurdles years in advance and built their depth from the ground up. They created their own homegrown solutions rather than praying for external saviors to bail them out. Imagine a potential Eastern Conference Finals showdown between the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat next spring. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Adebayo will undoubtedly play sensational basketball for long stretches of the series. However, when fatigue sets in during the fourth quarter, Miami will have to rely on an aging and exposed supporting cast. New York will simply unleash waves of fresh, physical defenders like Shamet, Alvarado, and Hart to maintain relentless pressure. The Knicks starters will be well rested and prepared to execute in crunch time because their bench carried the load all season. Miami made a legendary trade for a superstar, but New York constructed a complete, bulletproof basketball machine. Klay Thompson to South Beach makes for exciting headlines on sports talk shows, but depth wins championships. The defending champions have shown the rest of the league how to master the salary cap while keeping the locker room loaded. As the new season approaches, New York looks down at the competition, knowing they already have everything they need to repeat. Drop your thoughts in the comments below on whether Miami depth problem will cost them against the Knicks in the playoffs.